Good evening. We are back yet once again. I'm sorry I startled Thor. He was sleeping, and then all of a sudden I go and do that, and he's jumping out. And I don't know what's going on here today. Sorry. I'm still just a mess. I'm still trying to recover from yesterday's snow shoveling incident and pain in my body. But I got to tell you, did a show last night. It was absolutely wonderful to be back here with Bearded Babble. Again, I talked about it briefly at the start yesterday. I took some time off around the holidays, and then after the new year, it was excuse after excuse. And then I finally got back into it, and it really, really felt good. If I can give anybody, again, I want people to take good away from this, positive, inspirational stuff. We're going to talk about everything, real stuff, difficult stuff, funny stuff, but we're going to talk about it all. But what I want you to take away from it is I was afraid to do this again. And I got back into it because of watching other people and realizing you just have to do it. You have to overcome the fears. You have to not doubt yourself as much as you think. Get rid of your insecurities. Just do it. Again, it's wonderful. The feedback already from last night. I mean, it's not like huge. There's no major networks calling and trying to get things going. No, but it's just one or two great messages from people. How it enlightened them, how it made them feel better, how it made them realize something. So like I said, just the simple fact of just helping one or two people is an absolutely amazing thing, and that's what we're going to continue to do here. So let's get right into it tonight. Tonight's going to be a fun night. We're going to let you know exactly what's going to be going on tonight. Hold on one second. Set my camera up here, move it around a little bit. There she. Oh, okay. I got to readjust now, or otherwise it's going to be all beard. All right.
That would be
Now,
great, actually, if it's just a beard.
How's the internet?
Oh no, I'm lagging.
Did you want to try to move, or did you want to try to go slow motion style? I don't know. Yeah, you're locked. That's all I have. That's all I got from you right now. Yeah. I don't know if you want to try. Yeah, you're back for a second, and then it locks up again.
It's gone? It's not good?
It's like watching like an old Godzilla movie. It's
A Japanese anime. All right,
yeah,
hold on. Let me see if I can relocate to another location in the house. How are you doing?
This is what we do here. We adapt. We adapt, and we'll figure it out and we'll get it moving on.
Yeah.
I was starting to tell people about tonight that we're looking at 3 guests. But the thing is, though, is one of the guests. Now, you had sent me this when we talked about this last week. You had sent me something. I have an unopened Amazon package here from you, and this is going to be in regards to the second guest tonight.
First guest.
First guest. Okay, once again you're laggy, so I gotta try to read lips and figure it out. Okay, so this is going to be from the first guest. So I am going to open that as soon as the first guest comes on. So that's going to be exciting because don't know who the first guest is. Don't know what's in here. Again, this is definitely going to be off to a good start. You are completely locked up and frozen. So I don't know if I could like imitate you. So I don't know if I could like straighten my hair and then do your part and be like, okay, no, you're back. No, you're not back. We're getting good frozen face images.
What if I was just faking it? What if I was just faking being frozen?
My wife and I were flipping through not too long ago. We were South Park. It was the pandemic episode, which was absolutely hilarious. And it was Cartman was doing just exactly that, like when he went on for homeschooling. And I was like, that's genius. He was like, he's like, bro. It was like, you didn't have to go to school that day. It was.
Oh my God! Is it still lagging badly?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's lagging. It's locking up. Maybe you can get like an old wire antenna and like hold it above your head, like old school. Like I don't know, to get some tin foil. Maybe you're completely locked up.
technology.
For having so much lagging, we're getting a lot of hearts, which is very people are like watching people go through
Like I
technical
said,
difficulties. So lovely.
listen, in life, you can curl up in a ball and wait for it to be over, or you can just get out there and dance through it all. Just figure it out. That's what we're doing. That's, like I said, maybe I'll start lacking. Will do a lag.
That's pretty good.
Show.
See who could do the best lagging.
Oh.
So my cancer curing boyfriend is on the live. He decided to come because I came to one of his presentations and made him all nervous. So he wants to make me nervous. So I'm going to point out that he's here. And that's
we definitely want to say thank you to him. Chop was one of those places that has been on like our
How'd
list
you know
of
it was
places
Chop?
that we should go. You had said that because you had said, I believe you had said Children's Hospital. And of course, like I said, that's one of those places that we had. It's been on our list of trying to get down there for our son because we know they have some amazing doctors and some amazing staff down and everything. So that's a place that eventually, I don't know if we're still, we're still trying to figure out what's the next step with him. I mean, with COVID and with last year and this year, we're not doing too much medically with him. We're trying to just keep him as stable as possible, get through everything that we can. And then hopefully once things open up, then, we possibly could be heading down to CHOP. We don't know what the next step would be, but again, we're always looking for the best. And thank you to him for working, and for what we've heard is absolutely one of the best places, if not in the country, in the world. So,
yeah, they're doing some really incredible things there. It's crazy what they're doing in his lab. Maybe we can have him as a special guest sometime. Oh, Treehouse Ops is here. She just joined us, the guest from yesterday. By the way, she said
and
it
we
was
know
really
what her name
game
means.
changing. Yeah, I didn't know. She's like one of my best friends. I didn't even know.
We're still talking about aliens.
Changing to her. Oh, yes, we still need to talk about aliens. She said, we're back.
Yes. And again, it's definitely going to be in my top 10 oddest stories of my life. The friend with the watermelon.
Yeah, that lied for those people who weren't here yesterday. Her friend. I mean, do you want to tell it since you were the one talking to her about it?
Go ahead.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird story. It's about people lying whether they grew their own watermelons or not. And like, would you lie if your friend asked you to lie about them growing a watermelon on their own?
That is one of the best questions I've ever heard. That's an interesting thing to find out about yourself and who you would ask that question. I think that's an interesting thing.
Andy, I have a question for you. What is it that you like about the stranger danger, that meeting all these random people?
I don't know. I think it just has a lot to do with, I just enjoy people. I have always enjoyed meeting people. I've always enjoyed talking to people. And again, it's just always about talking to someone and finding out their story. And like I said, you can always find something inspirational. You can always find something you can connect to. You can always draw something out. If you can get someone to feel comfortable with you, maybe they'll talk to you about something that they may not talk about often. That's something that, like I said, has happened here on this show in the past a couple of times. And even last night, it got touched on a little bit too. And I think it's just that, again, we get so wrapped up in our worlds and everything that's going on in this chaotic world that we have to be the first one to type about something that you just heard about that you're not even sure if it's even true. We forget about ourselves, and we forget about another human being, and we forget about just interacting and talking to another human being and just saying, hey, how are you? And not just saying it, but meaning it, and then having a conversation about it.
Yeah, no, it's true. You know what I found interesting though, from like yesterday and just watching those two the two strangers that you met yesterday, is that how minimal amount of time you have to dig in to like who they are. You had 20 minutes with each person. And like today we're bringing on 3 people, 2 of them for 20 minutes, but 1 of them for 15 minutes. So you got to get down deep pretty quickly. So I think that takes a lot of talent.
Again, I think it's just, I don't know if it's my look. I don't know if it just shocks people.
People
It's
just
deer
feel
neck.
like breaking
You
down.
ask me a question, okay, I'll answer. What's going on here? You know, I don't know what it is, whatever it is, but you know.
It's probably your look. You should start doing your podcast just with this angle, just all beard.
Yes, just that, just all that. We'll just go all night like just like this. I can just wiggle it around a little bit, get some motion going in there. It's
Oh my God, we definitely have to start decorating it. Put some glitter in there.
oh no,
Oh my God.
no. No, I always get those people around the holidays do you want some like ornaments for your beard? No, thank you, nothing. No, it's
Really? Nothing?
yeah. Nah.
Lights?
I think one year I put lights in it. It was pretty cool. That I mean, I would probably do some like LEDs hidden behind it to get like a glow or something. But I would rather just Photoshop my beard into something fun.
You should do something Jewy with it.
Have I?
Oh, well, no, that's not going to work. I was thinking the curls. You said you have done something, but you couldn't remember what it is.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of Jutang stuff. Me and Donnell, I've done a bunch of my stuff. I've done some menorahs, and yeah, I've done some Jewish stuff for my heritage, for my peeps.
I've seen your cannabis beard. That's cool.
Yeah, that one I think.
Where it's like the weed plant.
Yeah, High Times Magazine actually I think sent that one up. I don't know if Snoop posted that. That one went viral. I was very proud of that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I had no idea. That's really funny. So what, Snoop posted it and then High Times Magazine covered it?
High Times actually for a while, they followed me because of, I think my story a couple of years ago got out there pretty big about how we were, experimenting with cannabis with my son, with his seizures and everything like that. And the story got out there and I got some odd followers, and High Times Magazine actually used to follow me. And I send them some every now and then, some funny, some weed stuff. But whoever runs that is they're very good people, very, very cool people. That one every now and then, like all of a sudden something will take off. And I noticed because all of a sudden I started getting a huge following of stoners. It's like everybody's like name is like 420 this and weed this and that. And then like I'll finally like message somebody and go, why is my timeline just being bombarded right now? Could you, and they're like, oh, I saw you on High Times Magazine, posted up your picture. I was like, and they tagged me in it. So I was like, okay, like, thank you. It's.
That's so funny. Instagram lets you know about all the 420 followers, but they didn't tell you where it came from.
Yeah. All of a sudden it's like my feed was just constantly followed by everybody was like, you could tell it was weed related. And I'm like, okay, something must have happened with, the weed community in one of my pictures.
Oh, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Having your beard featured in High Times Magazine. That's like, your beard is famous.
Yeah, it's and every now and then I'll see pictures of mine from, like I said, I've been doing the photo edits for years, and you're
very good at it.
I'll see stuff floating around that I did literally years ago, and like every now and then there's this one that I did a beard edit that I did years ago, and I saw a beard company recently just used it in their ad, and I was just like, okay, like I actually typed like the thing. I was like, I'm glad to see that my creation is still going around. Like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're really good with image cropping, making memes.
My daughter gets mad at me because that's what I used to say. I used to go memes, and she'd be like, they're memes. I'd be like, memes. It's me. It's M-E-M-E. That's meme to me. It's.
Yeah, you're right. It is meme. It should be pronounced the way it is.
Yeah.
Like if people say GIF or GIF, but it's really GIF because it's graphic, right? The word G stands for graphic. So it should be GIF. It's not GIF.
GIF.
But people say GIF. GIF is like the peanut butter.
Yes.
Actually, the image stuff, that's actually kind of the reason how like we kind of connected. Because like we were like kind of connected after like the summertime thing. But then the Bernie memes. Wow, you really were striking hard there.
I probably posted up at 10, maybe 15 to 20 on my page. I probably threw up another 15 or 20 in my stories that I think I have saved somewhere in there. And then let me tell you, there were probably another at least 24. There were some floating around back and forth with Donnell with a couple of people. they were ones that'll never see the light of day. But yeah, they were. Bernie definitely gave us the laugh that we needed at a time that we needed it.
Yeah. Wow. That's really good. They were really epic. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like looking at them laughing out loud, you know, not just like LOL, all caps, like really hysterically laughing.
The thing that I loved about that was everyone got in on it. Once it got out there and people started realizing, hey, how do I take that picture and put it on? And there are simple things out there. And then I think there was like an app out there within a couple of days that you could actually just put your, do it 1, 2, 3. Websites go up. But it was great to see the average person doing it, because that was one of those jokes. I had gone back and forth with a couple of different big meme people about this, and we were like, oh God,
Big meme people.
yeah, because like we were like, okay, let's just sit back and enjoy this, because usually that's like our job to do this. And it was wonderful to watch everyday people just, and that was the thing about that meme. You could put Bernie anywhere. You could literally put him anywhere and it made you chuckle. It was going to make someone chuckle, and that's what was great about it. Everybody was taking their own daily lives and putting Bernie in it and making people and making themselves laugh. It was wonderful.
Oh my God. There needs to be more epic meme capable images. How did you get into that though?
It's weird. I'm always searching. Like my wife and I are always like, when we're looking at old pictures, I'm always looking back at like dates, and there's stuff that I did. I think I found as far back as like, I don't know, like 2006, 2007 of like simple edits. And I remember there weren't even any editing apps. I was using like, I remember like I wanted to do something. I think one of the first ones I did was my daughter. She doesn't watch anything I do anyway. So, but
you're like, it's okay if I embarrass her. She won't watch this.
She's in that mom and dad aren't cool phase, and I get it. It's it's that teenage. She's doing her thing, and I'm proud of her the way she's going.
It changes though.
Exactly.
It eventually goes into like, my parents are the coolest people ever.
We have a very great relationship with her. I'm so proud of the relationship that my wife and I have with her, and especially with the situation in this house. It's difficult for her. It's a difficult life for her. And we have a very open, very honest, we talk about everything. There's nothing we don't talk about. Listen, I'm in a Jay and Silent Bob movie. I took her, I think when she was 12, to a Jay and Silent Bob movie. She said, listen, I was in the movie. I wanted her to see it. It's a Jay and Silent Bob movie.
That's crazy.
Listen, they know the humor at that age. I knew the humor at that age. Maybe some of this stuff went over her head. But, some of the stuff that was cringeworthy, you kind of just chuckle to the side, and she's, laughing. And it's humor's humor. And I'm glad that she's learned to laugh at everything like we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to look to see. So it's 218.
Yes. Yeah, so we're 2 away from the first person. And that's going to be the package. So I got to...
Yeah, but I'm looking for first person. I don't see first person in here. So
okay.
I'm going to see if first person is coming.
Okay.
And if not, then we'll have to maybe just bring on another random person and just be like, hey, you're late.
Side note, your lagginess has gotten much... I mean, every now and then there's a little slowdown, but yeah, you're like...
Since when? Like 5 seconds ago?
No, I think it actually started during the last conversation. But during the walk, I noticed that it was crystal clear. It wasn't freezing up at all. And now it's... So maybe now being back there, I don't know. But yeah, it's...
So it's bad again now?
No, you're fine.
Oh.
Or are you having a problem with me? Because I'm fine with you.
I don't have a problem with you.
Okay. You better not, no.
There's no problems here. Okay, I sent guest a message.
Okay.
But if they're not here in like 3 to 4 minutes, then we can just move on. We'll have another guest, or we can flip flop it, because there's other guests that are here too.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm here for. We're just here for the ride. It's leaves in a stream. Someone said that to me years ago, and I love that. Leaves in a stream. You just, wherever the water's taking you, just go. Flow with it. That's all.
That's interesting.
Leaves in a stream.
I don't know
Every now and then I go to that in my head. Leaves in a stream. Just go with it.
All right. I'm going to go back to the other room so I don't have as much delay.
Okay.
I need it, right?
No, you're fine right now. This is fine.
Okay.
I have a good connection.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We have a good connection.
We have a very good connection.
It's actually kind of messed up when they like mess with like our internet. And they're like, your connection sucks. And you're like, who are you to judge our relationship? It's messed up. All right, I'll say rah, 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 rah. Okay. I have to keep reminding myself of like the usernames of all the people because like I have to like send you their code names. You know?
It's difficult. I always got to write them down real quick so at the end I can put them in the thing because you can't add them afterwards. After you're done with this, it takes like 2 minutes just to set the whole thing up. It's okay, who's it? And then okay, I got to make sure I get them in. Otherwise, that's...
I know everyone's like, so wait, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, nothing. Just sit there.
That's it. That's it. Talk.
Yeah. It's interesting. I got a lot of good feedback from people yesterday on like how it went.
Yeah, no, definitely so far, absolutely. It's a lot of people that used to watch the old stuff were glad to see that it's back. Love the fun of this. It's again, just positive, good vibes.
Yeah. I'm curious about, so since we're waiting, we're going to give like 2 or 3 more minutes if we can. We're going to give 3 minutes. That's it. That's all we're given. If not, we're going to move on to the next person and we can just jump in afterwards. I'm curious about your Jay and Silent Bob thing. How did that happen?
Donnell knew that I was a huge fan. And, Donnell's very close with Kevin Smith. They had done a bunch of things together. They had done Hollyweed together. They're very close, and I can't say much more, but stay tuned. When he got the call, I think it was like one of those things where, like, even before he even talked to me, I think he even said to Kevin, "Is it okay if I bring somebody along to be in the scene?" And like Kevin was just like, Kevin's one of those guys that's just like, "Yeah, of course." The story is absolutely amazing behind that, though, because Donnell calls me up. He goes, "You're going to be in the Jay and Silent Bob movie with me." And of course, I was absolutely dumbfounded, like couldn't even believe it. So anyway, we get everything. Initially, I was supposed to be one of the background. If you saw the opening scene, he's a police captain. There are cops around them. I'm the popcorn eater. Initially, I was supposed to be one of the background cops. That was my initial thing. I was just going to be suited up as one of the background cops, and I would have been lost in the scene. We get there the day before our shoot. We go to wardrobe. The girl immediately walks out and she looks and she goes, "You can't be a cop like that." And I'm like, "I know, I agree with you." And then she's like, "Well," she's like, "I got to reach out to Kevin because I don't know about you got to change things and I don't know." And I'm like, "I'll shave the beard." I'm like, I don't want to pass up an opportunity to be in a Jay and Silent Bob movie. I'll shave the beard. Donnell immediately steps in and goes, "Your beard is humor. You're not shaved humor. You go home, Jaden's not going to recognize you. No one's going to recognize you if you shave that thing off." So he was like, just hold off. Slow down. They said, okay, they'll talk to Kevin. They'll figure things out. We did wardrobe for a couple of different things. That night, Donnell and I are out. We're talking, and he's like, "You're not shaving the beard. You're not." I'm like, "Listen, I really want to do this. I mean, this is like a bucket list thing. I'll do whatever I have to do." He's like, "You're not shaving the beard. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it." Okay.
I could see Donnell getting very intense.
Oh, he's like, "That's who you are." He's like, "You'll be miserable for a year until that thing starts, getting back to where it was." So we agree, absolutely, no problem. Next morning we get on set. First thing they do, they're like, still trying to figure things out. Kevin's not on set yet. And the woman walks up to me and she's like, "Okay, Kevin's not on set, but we got to get you guys suited up. We got to get things going here. What's the deal?" I look right at her and I go, "I'll shave the beard." Donnell threw up his hands and walked away from me. That's like, we just talked all night that we were going to figure this out and something was going to happen. You're not shaving the beard. He was so done with me. He hated me so bad. He tells the story 10 times better, but his hate on me was just like, he was like, "What?" Like he was like screaming, like, no. Kevin eventually gets on set. Donnell explains the situation real quick. Kevin walks over. He goes, "We're not cutting that glorious beard." He goes, "We'll figure something out." They go on. They shoot the opening scene for the movie and the closing scene for the movie were both shot that day. They shot both scenes. they start to, everything, you figure everything is wrapped up. They're taking a couple of pictures. All of a sudden, Kevin looks over where I am, and he's like, no, 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 don't. He's like, I didn't forget about you. All of a sudden, the next thing I know, he goes, you're a meme guy. He goes, I'm going to turn you into a meme in my movie. And just like that, he knew that he had thought of it like hours ago or whatever. And I think he had said something to Donnell, but I didn't know anything about it because Donnell was just like, you're going to be fine. Relax. Boom. And then when they shot it, I was like, okay, we did like 3 takes or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is great. And I'm like really thinking to myself, it's not going to make the movie. He did it as a favor. He did it as, you know, it's not, it's, and I had no idea. And then when I went to see the movie and actually saw it, I screamed like a 6-year-old girl at the top.
I need to hear that scream coming from you. Wearing your little yellow Hello Kitty hat.
I had popcorn in my hand. I threw it straight up in the air. I looked around at everybody very proudly, like, that's me. Like, you know, a couple of people were like, whoa, hey, like, you know, like, and that was my moment. If you blinked, you missed it. But that was my moment, and I'm proud of it.
That's awesome.
And again,
exciting.
It was all Donnell. And the time that we had in New Orleans was one of the greatest 3 days of my life. I mean, it was just walking down Bourbon Street with Donnell Rawlings as Mardi Gras was beginning was just.
Oh my God, I can imagine such a scene. That's really funny. How about we bring our guest? So the guest who's originally supposed to be right now isn't here.
Okay.
So in the meantime, we'll bring in guest number 2 into guest number 1 spot.
Gotcha, no problem.
So I'm just going to get off. Do you want me to just tell you the name of the person, or do you want me to write it to you?
Yeah, I guess tell me what it is. I'll write it down because, like I said, I got to make sure I add it in at the end. So.
Okay, it's Aussie.
Okay.
Say it out loud.
Aussie, Aussie.
Yeah, and then Alisa.
Aussie Alisa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hanging up.
All righty. This I think we're going to be talking about kangaroos. I'm just gonna.
Those other kawakas are even cuter.
I got to find out. I have no idea what a kawaka is, so now I got to find out what a kawaka is because Aussie's kind of a giveaway. But all right. I'm going to talk to you. I guess we'll do
after two.
So
there's going to keep
20.
I'll send you the next. She's going to be like 15 or 20 minutes.
Gotcha.
But I will be ready to send you the next guest's name as soon as she gets off.
Awesome. I will chat with you in a bit.
Bye.
All righty. Let's get that, and then we're going to go. Hold on a second. Click on this. I am looking for Aussie. There's Aussie.
Hi. How you going?
Oh, see, that's I just talk. I just want to hear the accent. Just talk.
You've got it. You've got the accent. I had no idea I was doing this. I was having a nap. Well, I was working, actually, if somebody was watching this. And then I was having a nap. And then she said, do you want to go live with Bearded Humor? And I was like, I couldn't read my phone. I didn't know what. I was like, I don't have, like, is this for me? And then I realized, and I was like, yeah, okay. Because I've got, like, I'm a therapist, so I've got a client soon. So I'll do what I can.
Well, thank you very much for being here. I mean, that's awesome that you're a therapist and that, you know, helping people is kind of what we're trying to do here. We don't know exactly what we're doing here, but
I don't have a fucking clue, and I've got a master's degree, so don't worry about it. It's fine.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No one knows.
Do any of us really have a clue? I mean,
no one knows. No one knows what's going on. All we're trying to do is just spread a bit of kindness and just be nice to people. That's literally all it takes. If we were just kind to people and people were kind back, it would just create a life where we wouldn't have to quarantine for 600 years probably, and look at a lot of homeless people losing their jobs and people experiencing homelessness now because they lost their jobs, and people being incarcerated for all the wrong reasons, and the people that need to be incarcerated are CEOs.
You're absolutely right. Everything.
Not to get deep.
the entire world is for no other terms ass backwards. Everything is just it's just in a weird way. And again, I think that we as humans, not categorizing anybody. Again, absolutely love your accent. Absolutely, Australia's on my bucket list, but not to categorize.
Well, it's on my bucket list. I miss home. We can't go home now, but
We're all humans, and we all just
that's all we are.
help each other. Just I've always said it's the simplest and most rewarding thing one can do. Help another human being.
That's it. It takes nothing. Like it like when you think about like making like a little at a kid when you walk past and they smile, it's just as easy to do that to a human. I mean, it's a bit weird if you went to a human now, an adult, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just funny. I don't know. It doesn't take much to be kind. Like it really doesn't. And people think it takes more effort to be nice, to be mean. And so they go out of their way to be mean. Like if you walk past somebody and you intentionally ignore them, it takes more effort to do that. If you don't like the person, that's fine. We don't all have to get along, but you can just be kind and just say hi and walk off. It takes you more effort to ignore the person because you're in your mind, you're thinking, don't talk, don't do it. And your body's like almost like muscle reaction wanting to do it. It doesn't take much. You don't have to buy things. You can just, nice words of encouragement. Sometimes you don't know what somebody's going through. A nice like little text saying, hey, how are you? Or hope you're having a good day, just to let somebody know you're thinking of them. Because often people don't know we're thinking of them, especially in times like this when we're all isolated. I know I am. Like isolated a lot of the time. I don't know who thinks of me. I don't know.
I mean, I don't get out much. I'm sure you don't know anything about me, just like I don't know anything about you. But I have
You don't see out of much.
I have a special needs son who's medically fragile. And since this started last year, we have been on extreme lockdown.
Yeah, you'd be in complete lockdown.
I've been out last year maybe a dozen times. I've been out maybe once this year. And like I was talking about this briefly last night too. When I was out the other day going to CVS to pick up some of my son's meds, there was an elderly woman, and we were both at the door at the same time, and we both had our masks on. But you could just tell we both stopped for a moment, and it was I was letting her go. But she just looked at me, and she saw the look, and it wasn't like a go, like it was like how are you?
Yeah.
And like I said, for a moment, even though most of our faces were covered, just with our eyes, and that's an amazing thing that hopefully people can get back to, because we don't do that. We don't look into people's eyes much anymore.
No.
But this is making you do that again, and it makes you realize you can connect with another human being just by looking them in the eyes, and you can say so much just by that. And like I said, just that moment with her, it just warmed me, and I know that it warmed her. Total stranger,
Yeah.
2 seconds of our time, a
You
smile.
can feel
Both our
it's
days.
really about body language, and often, so people often speak that they say they're listening because they want to be heard, and people aren't being heard. People are listening to respond. So it's like me just listening to what you just said and going, yeah, I've got a story too, just like that. No, that's not what this is. Like it's acknowledging, validating, paraphrasing, whatever. And that goes to body language, and I can kind of see when somebody's not listening, or they're listening to respond because they're like jiggy, like jiggy. They're getting jiggy with it. They're like giddy, ready to say their thing. So I kind of just stop mid-sentence, and they won't even realize that I've stopped in the middle of a story, didn't get to the punchline or something that's probably very funny, and they've just started talking, and I'm like, oh well, wasted my 5 seconds of breath there, like. So we're getting back to eye contact. In some cultures, they don't like it. So that's going to be a bit awkward. But I'm just thinking, like, if doctors perform hour-long surgeries, like some of these surgeries like 12 hours, and they somehow manage to, if they work for a long time with each other, they somehow manage to like give a look or something. They know what that means already. And I'm just wondering, like, we already have that innate in us. We're born kind of with that body language. You just don't listen to it, that gut feeling. My brain is in here. This is my mind that overthinks. This I don't listen to at all because it's gotten me into some fucked up situations. I listen to my gut. I only listen to my stomach. That's the only thing I listen to. And if it's loud, I'm sitting down. Like, so, or if it's quiet, I'm okay. That's the only thing I listen to is my gut. That's what's right. If I don't feel right, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. So, and that's because our body's kind of listening to what the other body's saying without saying a word. And all it takes is if you just look at somebody, or if you just listen to what they're saying, even if it's mumbled, you can still hear me. might just have to say, and people often like to say things like they'll say something and it's incorrect and they'll say it louder. I'm like, now you're just loud and wrong, but that's okay. We can continue this. Would you like to scream it and be wrong too? Again, but there's levels.
Yes.
You're still going to be wrong, or you're still not going to be heard. You know, the louder you get doesn't mean the more you're going to be heard either. So as we've heard from the past president.
Body language is very important. Again, on my situation, my son is a deaf mute, so
exactly. So you got
his
it down.
vocabulary is very limited because of his dexterity issues. Briefly stricken with meningitis, bacterial meningitis, had 3 strokes, severe brain trauma. Wasn't able to do anything, but he can do a lot more than the doctors ever expected him to do.
Oh, how amazing!
And
That's amazing.
why? Because of a positive attitude and because of constantly laughing. And again, my son can't say anything. His signing is horrible. It's off his dexterity, but we communicate every day, all day long. We communicate. We know a lot of times, like my wife and I have to tag team, like, okay, what's he trying to, but we can get it because you can read him. You can read the body language. You can read the eyes.
Oh, you'd be very good at it. You'd have it down packed, and your wife and your son would have it all 3 of you be down packed. That energy in the room must be very strong as well. Like you'd be able to, I think somebody who wouldn't be used to that situation as well, because I work with people with various disabilities at the moment as well. And there's just different ways you can communicate with people. And I think once you go into a room and you have that energy already going, it's like, if you walk in, you kind of feel it already. You wouldn't have to be, you need to be prompted a little bit if you don't have any idea. But you'd already, your son would be a very good teller of what's going on without saying a word. Yeah. Because he's an observer.
That's that is a great word. He observes everything.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we don't give him enough credit for sometimes.
No, probably not.
That he's not, not there, not paying. He takes everything, and observer's a key word.
He's the smartest person in the room. Karen and I'm sure I have to go soon because the next person I'm assuming will come on. But Corinne and I will go out, and she's so extroverted. I'm very, very introverted, and I like to sit in the corner by myself like Nigel, no friends, for the whole 4 hours. I'm like the least fun person to go out sometimes. But I am the biggest observer because I like to know my surroundings and what's going on. Or maybe I watch too many gangster films, but your son's a gangster. He's the biggest gangster in the room. He knows what's going on. He knows what time it is. Like, he knows. He can feel it in the air before anybody else does.
Know your
like
surroundings.
He'd have some other senses that where we wouldn't be blessed to have. Like, it's amazing. And the fact that the doctors got it wrong, that makes me really happy to hear that. I like it when doctors are negative and they're right and you're right in a positive way, or they're right in a positive way, if that makes sense. So he's blessed to have you, and you guys are blessed to have him. That's it, really. And it's nice that you're not angry, or you're spreading just as much kindness as as need be. So it's really lovely. So I think on that note, I should go and let the next person talk. I've dropped enough time.
It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I thank you.
Pleasure to meet too.
Absolutely love your energy, and
thank you.
I hope that we can continue a conversation another time.
I'd like that. I'd love to hear more. I'd love to.
You've got a lot to offer, and again, I appreciate.
Thank you. You get goosebumps.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm an emotional.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
And could you just something cheeky or something Australian? Give me some good Australian word.
Something cheeky. We got a lot of cheeky stuff. That's all we are. If you look at my Instagram, it's all cheeks.
Cheeks for the world. That's
cheeks. That's Aussie. At least cheeks. Something cheeky, I guess. An old English slang would be God, I can't. No, you put me on the spot now. I can't think. Something cheeky. I just said Nigel, no friends, didn't I? That's cheeky. If I called you a wanker?
A wanker. A wanker.
Yeah, a wanker.
I think that's an insult, but I'm actually happy.
That's an insult.
I
Yeah.
would consider myself a
That's
wanker.
the see. If I call you, if I'm like, "Hi, cunt, how you going?" That means you're a friend of mine. But if I go, "You're a wanker," that's in no way, in any form. If I go, "Hi, wanker," it's never it. So don't get tricked. Cunt
No.
can be an insult or a term of endearment, but wanker cannot. So there you go. There's a lesson of the day.
I thank you for this lesson on wanking. It's a wonderful way to end the show. I didn't know that that's the way
I
it was
didn't
going
know. I didn't know it was
on
going to
wanking.
end.
But
Yeah.
with that, again, I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you for your,
too.
thank you for everything. Peace,
Thank you.
love.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All righty. Who's next? Oh, this is going good. This is a very good energy. Do you want to get back in here, Karen? Shall I throw you back under the bus until we figure out what's going? We can just, where are you there? Let's see if you want to take it, and then we can have a little intermission. That was fun.
Hi.
That was
Oh, God.
wonderful start to the night. That her energy
The
and
wanker thing is
wanker,
so
wanker.
funny.
I could listen to her all night just saying, but her energy and what she does and her aura was definitely what we're looking for here. That's most enjoyable.
Oh my God. Elisa is hysterical. And like,
I can tell.
especially when she's in a bad mood, it's like,
See, women, that's good to know because, like, you know, like a guy like that, I'm like, she's okay, better to be around when she's in a bad mood. Like, as guys, we're like, no, like, I don't know, no, she's in a bad mood. No, you guys go out. No, I'll stay home. It's
oh my God. Yeah, she's one of those people who like doesn't say things very loudly. Like she kind of just whispers under her breath things, but oh my God, it is hysterical.
dangerous.
Yeah, she's a really funny friend.
Best kind of.
She messaged me. She said, I was in a good mood. Sorry. It's like if she was in a bad mood, she would have been funnier.
So wait a second. So that was a good mood. So I got to get her in a bad mood to have an even better time. Wow. That's interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's actually her dad's observation. He noticed that first when he was like, you know, you're much funnier when you're in a bad mood.
That's something else to talk about. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Lisa was in Yellow Springs and in Austin too this year. So you might have seen her, and her Instagram is very, very cheeky.
Oh, okay. I will check it out then. I will.
Yeah, you check it out.
If my wife's on here, no, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't follow her. You just have to like glance to see what she's up to every once in a while.
We chatted. We have a connection. I'll ask for permission. Okay, that's all I can do.
Yeah. Well, she's really amazing. Like she's really an awesome.
Oh, her energy. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to connect, and I definitely want to talk to her more about some things too. I mean, definitely she was on a different level there. So that's deep stuff.
She was also on Donnell's podcast a while back. Her dad. Well, her dad was on a call, but in Australia.
Okay, I do all that. Okay, so I definitely did something with it then, because every podcast he does, he sends to me. I do the memes for, and then so I get to hear him before anybody else does. So that's.
Oh yeah, it was her birthday.
Okay. Okay. Then I do recall that one then. So in a way, we've actually kind of connected in a roundabout way, I guess. Kevin Bacon, 6 Degrees. You know.
Yeah. You have to see Elisa after she argues with a random stranger. That's the best time.
Those are always fun between random strangers. You can't go wrong there either. That would be a good.
Oh my God.
Random stranger fights. That's.
The podcast she did with Donnell was with Van Lathan.
Yes. Yeah, I do recall. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the one. All right. So we could bring the next guest on. This is the one with the package.
This is okay. So be careful how you say that. Now I have a guest coming on with their package. I'm holding the guest's package. I have
you touched the package? What did the package, when you touched it, how did the package feel?
When I touched the guest's package, it's kind of soft and squishy. Oh God, this is just, I can pop things. I think that there may be popping. Oh, there's definitely poppers in there.
I don't think it's a good idea to pop it. I think those things are made there to protect it.
Oh, okay. But it's kind of, I don't know. I would guess soft cover book, but again, I don't know about the guest's package. So I guess we should bring this is just
I feel like this is like those YouTube videos where they like open up boxes with like a bunch of random toys and they get
Just-
like 1,000,000 likes.
just as long as the guest doesn't come on next with his pants down, going, oh, like okay, that would be a package. All right, we've already started this one off wrong, so why not? All right,
Setting it up for failure.
we
Okay,
ended
okay.
on wanking. We ended on wanking, and now we're into packages. So let's keep
All
the train
right.
rolling.
That was your fault, by the way, for asking about cheeky Australian language.
I know it was. She jumped right into it though, and thank you again for that. That was a.
Oh my God, that was so funny. All right, cool. So I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna send you the guy's name. It's Brand New Machine.
Brand new.
I just posted it in the chat.
Okay. All right. I am going
Hey,
to
bye.
brand new machine, and we're going to get to packages. Okay. All righty. I'll see you in a bit.
Bye.
Okay. Now we are going to go to brand new machine, and then I have. Okay. Let's see. We got brand new machine. I'm going to click on you, bring you in. I first off want to apologize that all we've been talking about is packages before bringing you in, so wasn't the greatest way. So I will give you another chance to introduce yourself, and we can start this thing over again.
That is hilarious. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, and I don't have my pants on.
All right, so
but I won't show you. Don't worry.
should I get right to it? Should I open it?
I think you should open it.
Okay.
But before you do, I can give a little bit of background about who I am. So, or does that take the fun out of it? I don't know.
No, yeah. You start, and then at some point I'll start slowly opening, and we'll get into the whole thing.
Awesome. So, okay, my name is Steve. Steve Urchin is what everybody knows me as. I have a different birth name, but nobody knows me as that. So, I've been in the music industry for as long as I can remember. Since I was about 7 years old, I wanted to be in music and entertainment. And then God's favorite trick that he played on me was he gave me no ability to play music, play instruments, sing, or create music in any way. So that left me only one option, which is to be on the management side, the helping people who have talent show their talent to the world side. So I've worked with a lot of different artists, mostly in reggae. I'm from Jamaica, if you haven't guessed that yet. And I am in Jamaica now. Hey, and this guy says somebody's complaining about my beard. I do have a beard. It's just growing in. I can't compete with this guy. I mean, that's not fair.
You don't have to be on here.
But I'm working on it. But I mostly work with Sean Paul for the last 20 years of my life. We've been to 120 countries. We've traveled a whole bunch. We've done a bunch of just exciting music, exciting videos, shows. We've done all kinds of stuff together. But I've never actually published anything of my own. Like I've never, until COVID came along, and which was kind of so it's kind of my COVID pivot, was to actually bring something of my brainchild into the world. So that is what you're holding in your hand. So that's my book. Look Down, Shit You May Have Missed. So it's pretty much like, it's pictures all taken from a lower perspective, because as I traveled the world, I was like, everybody takes pictures of, the Eiffel Tower, of themselves in front of things, and, famous people, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to take pictures of just stuff at my feet. And that's what I'm going to do. And then, so during COVID, I think a lot of people did this, is where you went into your phone and you started clearing out, all your crappy pictures and all, the doubles and all that stuff. And as I started going through it, I was like, damn, I have a lot of these pictures. There you go. So then I had a bunch of pictures of stuff on my feet, and I was like, I don't know what to do with these pictures. How should I, I'm going to start a new Instagram page, and I'll just post pictures of stuff, and call it Look Down. And then I was like, no, I should do a book. There you go. So I said, I did say I was from Jamaica. So I started to decide I was going to pair it with quotes. And then my dad was turning 85 last year in October, and I was turning 50. So I thought, what better way to kind of mark my dad's birthday, my birthday. We're both Libra. My son's also a Libra. So he was turning 7. So it was kind of auspicious in 3 ways. And so it's a lot of quotes from my dad. Yep, that's one. So you should read them, because when you hold them up to that, it's backwards. So nobody can read what it says.
Okay, this one is, there is a world below your feet and a universe outside your mind. Be sure to visit both. And again, I mean,
Yeah.
Pictures are wonderful. The inspiration is, and again, just everything about, just going back to the very start of your story, the fact that, and I know exactly, as soon as you said that God's evil, joke on you, I thought of a friend that I grew up with, Ludwig. I'm going to throw him under the bus. Ludwig was one of those kids where we used to ask him, Lud, keep a beat, like just simple, and Lud couldn't clap. He couldn't sing Happy Birthday. So I'm sorry that's what and I'm just like, that is such a tough thing. But the thing amazing about it is, look at where you are in the music world.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You loved music so much that you were going to be a part of music, even if you weren't music itself. You are music itself.
Exactly. So it's a running joke in my house. My wife will be like, "Oh, which song are you talking about?" And I'll in my brain I think I'm singing it, and I'm singing it pretty well, and I'm really good at lyrics. I get lyrics right. So I'll be the guy who, when people are like, "What are they saying in that song?" I know, right? So I'll sing the lyrics, and I'm like, I know I'm singing it. The lyrics are right, and the melody, okay, maybe it's not perfect, but you'll know what I'm talking about. And my wife will be like, I have no idea what song you're singing. Like, I could speak the lyrics, and she might understand, but as soon as I put any kind of melody, she's like, "You're totally confusing me with your like off-key singing." I could even sing a Sean song that she knows, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you lost me, bro. Oh. So it's like, okay. And then my son tells me the same thing, so I know it's not just her being me.
You laugh at it, though. You laugh at it.
What else can I do?
Look at what you turned it into, though. That's the amazing thing. You didn't let something that could have completely, like you said, you could have been angry about it. You could have been like, "Oh, I can't even like do this in music," or "I can't do this," or "I can't do that," and you could have just been angry at music. But you loved it so much that you figured out how do I become a part of music, and that's the amazing thing, is figuring out where you belong. You think that, okay, I'm part of music, but I can't do music. No, you can. Yeah. You can do anything you want to do. Anything. Speak it into existence, get your mind on it, and do it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny, because when I started thinking about the quotes that my dad and my grandfather said to me over the years, and like some of them are paraphrasing, and some of them are like kind of like my distillation of like wisdoms that they told me in different words, and I realized that what I keep saying to my kids every day when I drop my kids to school, I say they have to say their name, and then after they say their name, they say, "And I can do anything," right? And so like that's my imparted quote to them, and I'm like, I want you guys to get this in your head, that like the only person stopping you from doing something is you. So like, I mean, I did try to learn piano and singing lessons and all that stuff, and it was just terrible. And I actually had one piano teacher tell me I was tone deaf. And it was just, I was like, okay, I get it, I'm done, but I have music in my head, so I'm still gonna do what I can do. And it's been amazing being, just a part of the platform that's brought like Sean Paul to 120 countries around the world. It's been absolutely amazing and very rewarding, and I am still angry sometimes at God. And when I get there, I'm going to have a word with him, and he'll probably tell me, "Oh, you were supposed to play some obscure instrument that I never got to play." So that's probably or when I'm 90, I'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm really good at the harp."
Again, it's absolutely just amazing, and it's amazing that you laugh at it. And again, I think that's something that a lot of people need to do too. If there is something in your life that's difficult or a problem, laugh at it. Laugh at it. Don't let it stress you. Laugh at it. It's amazing what you can overcome. I think that's amazing what you do with your kids. Absolutely, the muscle memory of that is something where in years, it'll say, "Yeah, Dad, okay, yeah, whatever, blah blah blah." But the muscle memory of just that quote, that's quote
what I'm hoping,
in their head will just every now and then, without them even realizing, click it off. And again, thank you for your inspiration. This year again, And again, thank you to Karen about setting this all up, because again, the first one was an amazing energy. You are an amazing energy, and it's the inspiration that it brings, and it is in your head, and it's something that I had to overcome to get this started up again. It was the fears and insecurities. And where do fears and insecurities come from? They come from you. We create fears and insecurities.
Yeah.
So if you can realize as a fear or insecurity is starting, if you can go, okay, I'll acknowledge you, you're there, but I'm going to still do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really working on right now. And it's, again, that quote is, get that into your head. Tell yourself that you are good enough to do anything. Remind yourself, and you are. We get a lot of negative. There's so much negative in the media and so much negative in the world right now. Watch it, listen to the news if you want to, take it in, and then get rid of it, and then go to something positive. Music, just because, like you said, maybe I'm not going to say you can't create music, because where does music come from? Music doesn't come from the fingers. Exactly. It comes from the heart. It comes from the soul. So of course you can create, anybody can create music.
Right.
Like I talked about with the person before briefly, my son is a deaf mute. My son sometimes will start dancing. My wife and I, he just starts dancing sometimes with this smile on his face, and there's nothing. There's nothing.
There clearly is, right?
That's from inside.
Yeah.
Something that you create your own music. You create that. It
is incredible, man. It is incredible. But it's funny when you said something about where do fears come from. I remember like I said, my dad's 85, and like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we were sitting down and it started like lightning and thunder started striking, and he was like, oh, he jumped, and I was like, what happened? And he was like, oh, you don't know this, but I'm afraid of thunder. And I was like, how can I be 50 years old and I don't know that my dad's afraid of thunder? And he said, well, whenever it would start like setting up to rain or have a storm, I would go into my bedroom and say I had a phone call, or I'd go into my bedroom and say I was tired, and I didn't want to pass on that fear onto you. And I was just like, the presence of mind to be like, you're facing your big fear, and your first thought is I have to hide it from my kids so that I don't pass it on to them. I was just like, man, like you set the bar for fatherhood so damn high that I'm gonna have to climb a wall just to get near that shit, right? And that's the reason why I did this book, because I was like, I want to make sure that I document this before God, before he goes back to God, because I want him to know how much effect everything that he did had on me, and then hopefully pass that on to my kids.
I would say you absolutely beautifully done here. I mean, this is, again, this isn't just something that I got for the podcast. This is something that's going to be on my, my bedside with the rest of the books. Things that inspired me. This is
awesome, man. I mean, that's why I did it.
Definitely going with, like I said, I got a few books on my bedside, things that inspire me, and this is definitely an inspiration. Again, thank you for this gift, and thank you for the gift of being here. Again, and
thank you, man. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this, because I think it's a great idea. I love when she told me about the idea of like he doesn't know who's gonna be on. I was like, that sounds so dope. I'm ready. Like I was like, I want to just jump on there and see where the conversation goes, because I mean, isn't that the best conversations though?
It's listen, you've traveled the world. How many countries have you been to?
120.
Wow. So your stories, and you're talking to people that I will never get to talk to, and the things that you've seen and the experiences that you've had. I mean, that in itself, that's another book. I could imagine.
Yeah, that is another book.
Actions and absolutely amazing, just traveling the world. And is that something that you like to do? Do you like to talk to people when you travel the world?
Yeah, man. I that's my main thing. I love being social. I'm a social animal. And stuff like this has kept me going, during this pandemic, where you can't get out and be sociable the way that you normally would. I mean, I've been in one place now for longer than I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I've never been in one place for this long in my whole life, and I've gotten to know my kids and my wife and my close family like super, super well. And the only place that you go is to, to meet people is on the internet. So, I mean, I was like relishing the opportunities to jumping on with you too, and just seeing like, oh, this is gonna be great. It'll be a conversation. I'll be meeting somebody new, like meeting somebody at a bar, you know, walking to the bar in Berlin after a show and just seeing who's in there and just rolling up and being like, yo, so where are you from and what are you about? You know, that's what makes life, man. The more you travel is the more you realize there is so much that connects us and so little that divides us. And I think that's a lesson that everybody just needs to learn.
Say that again, please. I want to write that down. Say that again.
There's so much that connects us and so little that divides us, you know, that people get caught up on the little things that divide, you know, humans. And it's just like, it's bullshit. It's nothing. It's the little tiny, you know, my hair doesn't look the same as yours, or my skin isn't the same color, or I don't pray the same way, or whatever. And it's like, there's so much sameness and there's so much homogeneousness and so much connections of everything. You know, we all experience the same things. You know, we all eat food one forkful at a time, or one chopstick full at a time, whatever. So you know, there's so much singularity in our experience that to find divisions it feels like a labor, like to try and find things that are different. It seems so hard, and to find things that are similar, it just seems so easy. And the more you travel and the more you open yourself up to conversations like this with like the dude that you didn't know, you know, I could make assumptions about, oh, his beard looks like that, so therefore he's this, or he's that, or he likes this, or he likes that. And we won't have anything that connects. We can't have a conversation, or, you know what I mean? And it's crap. You know what I mean? There's just, like I said, there's just so much that connects us. And I think that's to me, that's the lesson of COVID. Like, we need to take that away from this.
That was probably some of the most powerful stuff I've heard in a long time right there. Thank you. I mean, really, that was, and I think that's what, I know people like myself and people like you, and like I said, it's a connection of energies, and it's just wonderful to know that there are people and that we do need to think like that. We're all just one. We need to stop with the divide. We need to stop with listen, I know that there's a lot of things that still need to be worked out. There are a lot of wrongs that still need to be righted. We can't sweep things under the rug. But overall, I think people, again, really just need to look, again, it's a human and a human. And I love, that's the whole concept of this is, yes, you can look at me and you can look at you and you can go, two different people. And that's okay. That's an easy assumption. Sure. I wouldn't be mad at going, okay, two different people. When you start talking and once we start connecting, we're not two different people.
Yeah.
On the outside of the book, yes, maybe, but the pages are pretty much the same. The pages are promoting positivity. The pages are trying to help bring togetherness. So the book it's what's inside.
Yeah.
And inside, we really are all the same. And that was let me tell you, goosebumps went. I'm telling you.
Thank you, man.
That was powerful. I don't listen to stuff again. That little clip, I'm probably going to pull out at some point and use that for something just because.
Send it to me so I can post it. Because what happens is I get into these conversations, usually helped on by a little bit of tipple. And then I spout these things. And then I'm like, I should have written that down. I should remember that. I got to put that in my next book, you know? Honestly, that's one of the things about music that I love too, is that music brings people together. I've been brought together with so many people that are supposedly of not like mind because of something that I listen to, and you end up at a show with somebody and they're looking at you like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, we both like Metallica. Okay, wicked.
There's a great thing in the comments right there from Hello Juvro. Karen just said, you should have your own podcast. Listen,
hey, I'm ready.
With your energy, with your travel of the world, with your music, you should really be definitely speaking to people. I'm absolutely honored and floored. Again, this night, so far every night, I mean, this is just, again, you come on with, and again, like before you said, you had no idea what this was going to be. And it turns into something like this, where it creates an energy that I know I'm going to carry for a long time. I'm taking something wonderful away from this. And hopefully people that see this are taking that away too. So again, how easy is this? It's just two people talking.
Amen, man.
That's just talk to people. That's it. And you will find the connection. And again, I mean, some powerful stuff there. I mean, truly amazing.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully people pick up the book, and then I go on book tour and
absolutely
podcast and all that stuff.
Definitely. Where can you can find it on Amazon? I'm guessing because that's
Amazon. Right now it's Amazon only, print on demand. So just jump on there and search for me, Steve Urchin, or search for Look Down, and you'll find it.
Look
Or you
down.
can always follow me and then click the link in my bio. That's the shortest way.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Oh man, this is again. I am. Like I said, I was nervous about getting back into this, and then I realized just have fun with it. Just go with it and look at what we created here. Again, this is not my show. I know it's Bearded Babble and this, that, the other thing. This is not my show. This is Karen's show. This is your show. This is Aussie's show.
It's everybody's show, man.
This is Treehouse's show. This is everybody that I've done in the past. It's their show. This is a show for everybody else. This is therapy for me. So again,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here.
And for me. Jeez.
And thank. I can literally say thank you 1,000 times. I definitely want to talk to you again. I would definitely.
Absolutely.
Like to
We should do it in the daytime next time, so we can see outside in Jamaica, so we can show people who are all cooped up somewhere that there is still outside and there is still sunshine and there is still plants and all that kind of stuff. Because that's something that's super powerful to me too. I get out and walk every day and just breathe the air, man. Put your feet in the ground.
I don't get, like I said, I've been stuck in a house for over a year now, but I do live vicariously through. I have some favorite people on social media, on Instagram. I follow a lot of big sites like Sea and Ocean and Island Life. And like
for sure.
Just because that's what I want to see in my feed. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about what's going on. That's what I want to see. And it's stuff like that. And like you said, I would absolutely love to just see the background there.
Exactly, man. I mean, like I said, in the daytime, it's like, a couple of trees out the window, just a nice vibe, man.
That would be absolutely beautiful. That's one we're definitely going to work on. I'm going to definitely keep on pushing for that one. That'll be a fun one. Just love and good vibes. That's
awesome,
all.
Man. Well, thank you for having me on, man.
Again, really, my pleasure. Everybody listening, it's definitely their pleasure. Like I said, some very powerful stuff there, man. Thank you for just. And again, I think the way I would categorize you is someone who everything comes from your heart, because you can't, like you said, you're not musically inclined, but what you do is obviously amazing. You're connected to amazing musical people. So that's because it comes from the heart. And what you did here tonight, again, I thank you, because it didn't come from anywhere but the heart.
Absolutely.
So thank you. And again, energy, I'm going to be up till like midnight, 1 o'clock. My wife tell you.
Where are you, man?
I'm in northern New Jersey, right outside of New York City.
Okay.
2 feet of snow yesterday.
Freezing.
So nothing like what's going on outside your place.
No, I had a friend who came in from Florida today and was like, "Oh my God, in Florida it was, whatever it was, almost zero." And I was just like, "That's crazy." And I mean, like, she was like, "Oh yeah, it's normally always hot except for a few days of the year." And I said, "Yeah, we don't really get the few days of the year. We get 70s, maybe high 60s if you go up in the mountains. That's it. You know what I mean?" So it's just like hot or hot and wet. That's the two. That's our seasons.
Wow. Oh, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, though. I definitely want to see more of that. I love the idea of an outside show.
So we should do like a co-hosted thing where I'm in Jamaica outside, and then you can show out your window and show the snow. We can call it Sun and Snow Podcast or something.
That would be great. That would absolutely
the bookends of weather.
Yes, we can definitely.
I got to shout out all the Jamaicans who are jumping on now. All my peeps. Oh, Ghana, all the way from Japan. Yeah, man, all my people are jumping on. The only thing about this is, like, I was like, it would be so cool if I could tell people I was doing this. And then she was like, but he doesn't know who's going to be on. So I was like, well, I don't want to spoil the surprise. But then now they're all, I've been on for whatever, how long. And they're just now like, oh, wait a second. I think Steve's on, But yeah, man, big up Alex Marley. Big up my wife, who does awesome jams here in Jamaica.
And listen, anybody who doesn't know this, the vibe, the Jamaican vibe in itself has got to be one of the best vibes in the world. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, it's just a happy, positive, enjoy your life, help people, live a good life.
Yeah, man. I always say the best thing about Jamaica is the people, man.
Yes.
I think the weather helps us be really chilled out and in a good mood most of the time. But it's just whatever it is, like it is an amazing vibe here, man.
Yeah. I'm going to, yes, this will definitely be up on my page. I'll share it with you. Like I said, I'm probably going to cut that clip out and use that because that was some
Yeah, I'll
powerful
throw it up on my page too if I can. Awesome.
And definitely going to chat with you probably tomorrow, and definitely look forward to doing something more.
Cool.
Again, like I said, I'll say it a million times. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I'll say it a million times. You're welcome, and thank you too.
Oh,
yeah, I'm waiting to see who we got on next.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to jump back in with her real quick. We're going to get to the third one. And again, this has been peace, love,
Peace out, man.
laughter. Again, man, I can't ask for more. It's like this is like scripted for perfection. I can't.
Well, unscripted for perfection.
Thank you.
Write that one down.
Have a good night.
All right, man. Peace out.
Again, you can't make this up. Again, it's just about having a good vibe. And once again, it proves the simple fact that you can talk to like a stranger, you know, and you can find something to connect with, and you know, it's just talk to people. Just talk to people. My God, this is fun.
This is so cool. I'm enjoying it so much. Well, you know what's interesting is that like I never met Steve, so like never like in person, right? Him and I connected because I had actually messaged Sean Paul. I was like, oh, do you want to do the podcast? And then Steve connected me, Steve. And I was like, oh, actually, do you want to do the podcast? And then he told me about the book, but I never met him either. The other people that we've talked to, I've met. So I'm like, I feel like I'm floating right now. I know. I'm going to get the book from it's a great gift book.
It's beautiful pictures. It's all positive quotes. It's, again, this is exactly, even the package was spot on to what it should be. You know, it's
cool.
Just the positive quotes, the beautiful pictures. You know, it's you can't have your foot on the brakes and the gas at the same time. You know, it's just reminding you. Yeah, just.
I want to get it for the quotes. Honestly, that was like.
That's
moving.
Oh, and again, like I said, I mean, it almost seems like it's if you were to plan it, and like, oh, I got a great.
Steve, put the Amazon link. Yeah, I know you can't plan this.
You can't. It's more fun like this. Just like I said, Aussie jumped on and she jumped in. He jumped on and he jumped right, and it's just good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Are we ready for?
I feel like I'm floating.
I know.
Like that's how.
Like my wife will tell you, I won't be able to go to bed tonight because it's just like the energy is just it's good. I enjoy this.
Smoke some weed.
You keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so this next one is a friend of mine who used to live locally, like New York, Philadelphia. Now she's in the West Coast, but this is her username. It's just Brie, BRIE _Z. I wrote it in the chat. So this is our last and final guest for the day. That was awesome though. I'm hype just like watching this. This is so good and I'm learning so much, and we definitely need to continue these. This is the second time we've ever done it. We're confusing everyone. People are like, what is this?
That's the fun. That's the fun of it.
You need to do more with your beard talking like that. That was good.
Okay. I'm not going to make any guesses with just Brie. I could make a cheese guess, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to take a deep breath. All right. It's going to be me and just Brie, and then I'll bring you back in afterwards, and we'll end this night. But this is absolutely awesome. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay. Bye.
All righty. We are going for, I got to get that out of the way. Okay. Let me see. Just Breezy. Here we go. Well, hello there.
Hello.
Again, this show, we definitely need hair product sponsors. We've got some great hair here. Mine, not so great. I need help, but great hair, not so great. So I need some help.
Well, shout out to Miel Organics with my hair. So if they want to spot me a few extra products, I'll take it 100%.
So tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Brianna. I'm probably going to be your least interesting guest. I am an attorney that has made my way from Philadelphia through Pittsburgh to California. And I practice in mostly fields of entertainment. So whether it's high wealth individuals or athletes or certain celebrities, I've represented, all sorts of projects with them. Most recently assisting with a cannabis company and starting a grooming line, and they want to do an online gambling company with a group in Malta. And yeah, it was a whole lot that I did with my last, he was my employer. This particular celebrity brought me in-house. So that was an interesting run. And that got me deeply into the influencer world too, because as an influencer celebrity, who I had never heard of before I started working for him. His name is Dan Bilzerian. And that was a very, very interesting.
I know who Dan is.
Yeah, I'm absolutely honest. I had not even inkling of who he was when I applied for the position. And then even when I got the position, it was like some fast Googling and hitting up my network, like, hey, who is this guy? Is this going to be okay? Kind of thing. And it turned out fine. It turned out great. He's an interesting character, but he is a generous boss. And so, I really have no complaints on that end.
I had spoken earlier about living vicariously through people. He's definitely one of those people that I think most people live vicarious. He lives beyond what even someone's dreams are, I think, but it's absolutely amazing. I mean, his life is just like, okay, like some of you just gotta no, come on, nobody should do that.
Well, it's quite the image that he's built. Yeah, it's quite a thing, and especially with the women involved and the image that they build around him. I will say that they probably run the show more often than not. People think it's opposite. They think he's taking advantage and all that stuff, and it's like, no, and that was a big thing about bringing me on, was just, they realized the women were running a little roughshod and getting away with a lot of things, and they, a lot of them were afraid, like, well, what if we say something, what if this and that, because of the whole Me Too thing, and they just weren't sure. And so, I stepped in and, I was like, it's simple. It's just a matter of business. People need to act like professionals, and there's certain aspects here that have to be separated if they're going to be hired models versus if they're just here to hang out. So I played a pretty big part in that at one point. So
okay. Wow. Hold on one second. I mean, I think I can say this comfortably, being a 52-year-old man, and my wife is on here. So, so you were in charge of organizing large groups of,
Well, okay. So for him, I was a VP of Business and Legal Affairs in-house here in California. Prior to that, I'd worked for a company called TRIFECTA. I was their communications manager internally, and they're a branding and design and marketing group. And then prior to that, I was in private practice in Philly. In between that, I went back to school. I got my master's in entertainment industry management from Carnegie Mellon. It's a young program, but a really, really good program. And that's what landed me out in California, because it's a year in Pittsburgh and a year in California. Prior to that, I was in private practice for a boutique firm, Rivas and Associates, representing celebrities and dancers and legacy artists. Helped, close the deal for the life story rights for Hidden Figures, for example, and a few other musicians. And, I still take care of some legacy musicians. I have a client that's a widow right now who's selling some of the royalties and everything, which is a whole new business, it was a learning curve, but hopefully we're about to close the deal. So that's good for her and for the buyers. And so, those are just kind of, so basically I do legal business affairs work across the board. It just happened to be a little unique just because with Dan is a unique business model. And so a lot of the business involved women, and, whether they're appearing at parties or whether they're going on trips or whether they're personal friends of his or just models, things like that. So there was a lot of, for lack of a better term, wrangling take place. For the most part, though, everyone was really great. There were a few bad apples or a few that just, you know, kind of like how you see on reality shows. It's like, who do you think you are? Where do you think you are? Like, why are you behaving this way? But for the most part, it's just, you know, a bunch of young ladies that are looking to get their, you know, time in the limelight and hopefully make something of themselves. So, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You have definitely, and I'll tell you, all the guests here tonight have definitely seen some interesting stuff. I'm sure you've got some stories that, of course, you could never talk about, but I'm sure you've got some amazing, amazing stories.
I have some interesting ones. Corinne has pulled me into some interesting situations as well, and she knows some of the stories, especially when I was working with the dancers. I used to go to France a lot. Oh yeah, I went to France. I would go to France 4 or 5 times a year, working with the dancers out there, and yeah, so that was a lot of fun, and that could get kind of wild. You know, we were young and single, and just, you know, doing what we wanted to do. And that's life. There's a time for that. When you're in your 20s, you know, do what you want. Live to your best, you know, and then, you know, figure it all out in your 30s.
Absolutely. And that's something too, getting, you know, to where I am in life now, you know, the 50 mark. You really change, and you really look back and you really realize, yeah, like I'm trying to tell my daughter now too, like, just enjoy now. Stop worrying. Stop. You have so much time to enjoy and to experience life and to see things. Don't let all this seriousness and all this news, don't let it in your head. Enjoy. We're gonna, you know, you look back at every generation, my generation, your generation. We've all gone through it. You know, you sit back and you look, and it's horrible what this past year or two has been. It's, if you look at bits and pieces of it, we've gone through bits and pieces of it. It just seems to be all of it at once now is coming together. That's what's so horrible about it. Horrible right now. We're going to get through it. We're going to continue moving on. You know, life will get back to normal again, whatever the new normal is going to be. But just in the meantime, laugh at it. Stop taking it so seriously. Don't pick a side. You know, just listen to, okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, wear the clothes you want to wear, you know, date who you want to date, go, you know, to whatever party, travel to that country, you know, of course, do your research, you know, don't go in totally blind. I will always say that about traveling. Ask people about it, you know, start with a baseline and then explore from there. But yeah, it's like, you know, when you're young, and also just enjoy being single. Now, some people are relationship people, and, you know, that's what I am now. You know, I've been with my partner for almost 6 years now, you know, and I love him. And I met him through those days. We were friends first. I met him through those days going to the dance events and stuff like that, because he used to throw one of the biggest ones in the country. And so, you know, I was able to just see what was out there, you know, loved who I wanted to love, and, you know, hate who I wanted to hate, and, you know, had all fun in between. I don't really hate anybody. I've never hated anybody, but, you know, it's just, to me, it was just an easy way to just figure out how to manage that kind of stress too, because what I think was said earlier is just the more you get to travel, the more you get to know people that have different customs and traditions or just different outlooks, the higher your tolerance level rises, because you realize your world isn't as narrow as you once thought it was, and you realize that there are literally 20 million different ways to skin that cat, you know. So being caught up in your own ideals is not really, it's kind of a waste of stress and time.
I think you just said something very, very interesting too. You said it, and then you corrected yourself. You said I hate something, and then you said I don't hate anybody.
Yeah, no.
That's something that I think people need to get into their heads, and that's something that I've worked on too. I don't like the word. I no longer want to use it. Yeah, there are things. I hate what my son's been through medically. I hate seizures. I hate meningitis. Yes, but I don't want to use the word anymore. I don't want. It just brings a negative. No matter how you use it, I don't want to hate anybody. I don't care what they've done. I don't want to hate anybody. I can dislike. I can disagree. Get rid of that word though. That's a key thing, and that's important. Not to hate anybody.
Yeah, because, you know, everyone has their motivations. That's what I found. I mean, let's look. This week has been one of the worst weeks I've had in a while. I had someone broke into our garage, an apartment complex, I have a plug-in hybrid car. They stole the charger off my car, which is like $1,000 to replace, you know, and then insurance is like, okay, $500. It's like, that's still a lot of money. So that was terrible. And then at least they didn't mess up the car. And then my dog and I on Saturday, we got attacked by a pit bull that got out of its owner's yard. And so I'm laid up here, you know, I'm messed up more than she was because I picked her up. But I'm not mad at the owner. I'm not even mad at the dog. The dog was doing what dogs do because my dog's cute and little and squirrely, and it probably just, you know, if she were a bigger dog, the way she runs after squirrels, you know, I really, so I'm not mad at any of it. I'm actually very just glad that we're alive, especially after it was a pit bull, and it was, that was a rough moment. And then also, you know, as far as the car goes, it's just stuff. You know, and stuff changes. I mean, I've lived in, so many apartments. I've lived in at least 7 or 8 different apartments up to now, and I'll be 37 this year, because I just was down with moving, and I tried to be as minimalist as possible, and I just wanted to go different places and explore different things, and if an opportunity seemed cool, I just said yes. I mean, it's like talking to you right now, Karine. She's never let me down. You know, there are some things where it's like, you know, okay, maybe we could have skipped this, but I trust her. So she was like, hey, you want to come on and just talk to this random stranger? And I was like, okay, I'm in a bubble right now, you know, and she knows me. I'll talk to a wall if it could talk back, you know, like. Just because it's just so interesting, and you never know who you're going to run into. You never know what they're into. I mean, out here in Hollywood, I've been at like places where I've waited for a friend at a bar, and I'm ended up sitting next to someone who produced, you know, an Oscar-winning movie that just won an Oscar. You know what I mean? And they're like sitting there like, you want to see pictures of where I put my Oscar? And they're drunk, but it's like, cool, okay, yeah, I'll see it. You know, it's just like. But, you know, if you didn't strike up a convo, you'd be like, who is this drunk bum, you know? But it's like, everyone has a story. And then on top of that, you know, I was just watching now, El DeBarge, he like put up a live stream of him performing, and a bunch of people are like, oh my God, look how talented he still is. And he's somebody that's gone through it, right? You know, drug addiction and all that stuff. And for someone like myself who works a lot with legacy artists, that's a hard thing when you have someone that's totally talented and then they come into hard times. And it's hard because some people can be very unforgiving, because it's like, how can someone who has millions of dollars come in a hard time, the blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you're not quite understanding the different level of stress that comes in with a certain level of celebrity and a certain level of money when people know you have money. Because like I said, being in-house, I've been outside counsel for several different, you know, individuals and celebrities, but being in-house allowed me to see a whole different side of it. And it was stressful, and it was something that at the end of the day, I have no desire to ever have, you know, like.
I've been fortunate enough. I'm good friends with Donnell Rawlings.
Mm-hmm.
I've been fortunate enough to be around, you know, Dave Chappelle, Team Chappelle, been out with Donnell a million places. And the life behind the velvet rope that you have seen, it's a completely different world than a lot of people are used to. But what you just said about the stress of it, I've been around it enough. Like in the beginning, it was overwhelming, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I love this. But I've been around it enough where now I'm comfortable in the situations. I'm comfortable around these people normally I was shell shocked. Now I can sit and I can talk to them. But you can always see the stress. You can always see the looking over the shoulder. Yep. Who's in the room? Who's got their camera out? Who's, you know, it's an amazing, different life. But like you just said at the end of what you just said too, you wouldn't want it.
No.
Again.
No. Yeah. And it totally, you know, the good thing about it too is it totally changed the trajectory, even what I was looking for in my career. I mean, I've always been the type that's like, you know, when I started off in politics, I always was like, I don't ever really want to be the elected official, but I definitely want to be their support staff. I want to be a kingmaker. I don't want to be a king, you know, it's just a big bullseye. But if I can be that person that, you know, is issue spotting and problem solving and bringing in the resources they're looking for, I'm more than happy to do that work. I don't need my face to be the face, only because either the expectations or, you know, just people just come, you know, just trying to get whatever they can out of you for no reason, when it's like, it's not even necessary to be like that to get what you're looking for. You know, you could be bringing up an actually valid prospect that they're interested in, but instead you have to connive in some way, which taints the whole experience. So, you know, it's easy to see from, you know, from behind versus when you're right up front. And so that's always kind of how I've seen that. I've never been the first to, you know, if I ever bungee jump, I wouldn't be the first to to jump, you know. Same thing with skydiving. It's like, let's see how this goes for you, and then I'll think about jumping out that plane, you know. That's always
I was supposed to go skydiving. I think I was about 20-ish. A bunch of friends from work. We were all going to go. And I think that morning they called and said, I know it's clear by you. It was a couple of miles, probably like maybe a 4 or 5 hour drive from us. They were like, I know it's clear by you, but we're looking at some bad weather going to be just clipping our area. So we don't think that we're going to do it today. We'll call you next week and we'll reschedule. Next week, my friend calls me up and goes, okay, we're going to reschedule. I go, no, you're going to reschedule. I was my one opportunity. Something that it wasn't going to happen. That's it. I'm done. I would have done it that day.
it wasn't meant to be.
Now something said not happening. Good luck. Have fun.
Exactly right. Oh, shout out to my friend Bruno. He came in the chat a little bit.
Is Bruno from Peru? Did he just say, hey, from Peru?
Yeah, he's a magician. He's very talented.
I got a magician from Peru on here, for crying out. Bruno, thank you. I mean, when did I ever think in my life that I would be chatting with you, your story, and that I would have Bruno, the magician from Peru, on here?
Well,
like, talk to the stranger. No, no.
I dated a very talented magician for a little while, and got to know a lot of magicians through him, and an appreciation for the art form, the trade secret, you know, and everything they do, how they travel, and they go about it, and how it just plays into everything in entertainment, visual effects, right? Bruno knows this. This is how I met him. But, you know, down to J.J. Abrams being a magician, and that's how, you know, his inspiration for a lot of the things that he looks for, misdirection, you know, having the tell, you know, making sure you don't show that tell, all those different things. It was like a master class in all of that. And so, you know, I'm grateful for that. It didn't work out, but, you know, it was a fun time while it lasted, you know. And that's also what I mean about when you're young, and it's just like, go have fun, you know, be safe, but just like, why not, you know, go on that date, go on that trip. My first trip to Paris, I brought a girlfriend of mine, and we were visiting the coach of some dancers that I knew that I had been corresponding with online. He's like, I got an extra room, you can stay with me. So we both went and stayed with him. He was working on a TV show in France, so we got to go with him to work and see how this like kind of reality competition show, as a dance show, was shot, and who was working there and all that stuff. And then we would go and explore and do our sightseeing. The last night we were like, oh wait, we didn't even see the Moulin Rouge. Mind you, this is like pretty much this is my second trip to Paris, but my first like real sightseeing trip. And so we just randomly, it was like 10 o'clock at night or something, we made our way all the way over there just to see the lights. And I mean, we were tired. When I say when you walk in France, you can like, there's so many stories, but we were tired. So we were like, okay, we'll stop at this cafe, we'll get some coffee, and then it was too late to catch the train. We have to catch the bus back to our friends. So we go to the cafe. I leave for a second. I leave her to go to the restroom. When I come back, she's sitting at a table with these 6 older Italian men and these 2 Russian blondes. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, these people asked if they could sit next to me, and I had to tell them, I'm sorry, I don't speak French, I only speak English. And they all went, oh, American! They were like, can we join you? So that was cool. So they joined us, and only one of the Russian women, one was a translator. She could speak English. The others, nobody else could. I speak a little Spanish, which helps. The Latin helps with the Italian. But we were making it work, and we were communicating. And finally they were like, do you want to come with us to the Moulin Rouge? And we were like, we don't have tickets. And they're like, that's fine. You can join us. And we were like, okay. And so we followed them. We're standing in line. We're still talking, carrying on. And mind you, these are men in like their 60s. Like they are old businessmen. And so we're just talking and carrying on and having fun. We get to the line. The one guy talks, you know, him and the translator talk to the guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. And he like checks off and writes some things. And they're like, good, we're good to go. Let's go inside. So we're like, okay. So we follow him in. We do our little, we look at the, they were so nice. They bought us souvenirs and everything. We walk into the main room, and if you've ever been inside, it's like an indoor kind of amphitheater. It's a dinner theater.
Okay.
So there are tables, and then there's a stage up front, which is an old school stage, like old school big stage. They walk us around the back. We're like, okay, that's cool. We're going to the back. Then they walk us around the side. We're like, okay, I guess we're a side table. Then they walk us to the front where the stage is, walk around to the front to the front and center table.
Wow.
The front, I have video of it because it's like you're not allowed to have video, but I have my little GoPro, so I turn it on and we're like giggling, and we show it real quick. It's too fast, but we were at the front and center table. These guys ordered like 6 bottles of champagne, and we just proceeded to get drunk off champagne and watch the Moulin Rouge. We were so close, we had to duck at one point when they were doing pirouettes because we thought they were gonna kick us.
Wow.
But that was because, hey, okay, group of strangers, you guys are nice, sure, let's talk. And that's it. That's the joy. I mean, you don't have to be young to really experience that, but yeah.
Again, you know, strangers, it's yes and no, but look at what, as long as you have a good, you know,
yeah.
as long as your head is on straight, as long as you're not too, you know, under the influence of anything, as
yeah.
long as you know what's going on, look at what happened. Look at that night. That's amazing.
Yeah, if they had been like, hey, let's go off to this random place, blah, 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 we probably would have said no. But the Moulin Rouge was next door. Do you want to come? Okay, yeah, why not?
And look at what it turned into.
Yep, it was amazing. So it's like, you know, my takeaway from that is just be kind. You know, just be kind. You know, you don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe them, you know, your time and attention, but sometimes being kind and just, you know, engaging just a little bit can go a long way. Or just informing someone, you know. I've had days where, you know, it's been a very bad day or I'm feeling really sick and somebody will want to engage me and I do my best and finally I say to them, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I'm really sick right now and I'm just kind of, my energy is inside. So, you know, it was really nice talking to you, but I just need a little time, quiet time. And usually people are responsive to that. So it's like, you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be, you know, you can just communicate. And the more you communicate, the better at it you become.
Well, I think it's important that you protect your energy, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's what this is all about. I think it's a connection where you start connecting with people. I think most of our lives, you know, you become friends with people that you work with, that live in your neighborhood, that, you know, you almost should become friends with. I'm realizing now, and I think a lot of people are realizing too, especially within this past year too, because there are different ways of connecting with people now. It's not so much going out. It's a lot of this. It's a lot of social media. And when you find somebody that you connect with, and then you keep connecting with their connections, and realize, like I said, I mean, you can easily see a pattern here with what's been going on last night and tonight. It's just positive energy. It's full of love, full of laughter. Yes, there's ups. Yes, there's downs, but you figure out how to get through it. You don't cry about it. You don't whine about it. You don't, like you said, with what you've gone through with the dog attack, with them stealing the piece for your car that somebody really needed it and knew how much it cost and figured who was going to steal. You didn't let it get you down. Of course, I'm sure you're upset when it happened shortly afterwards. Yes, you're allowed to be. We're all allowed to be. But overall, you didn't let it get to you. It didn't ruin your day.
You got to let it roll off eventually. I mean, it's okay to be upset, just like you said, and it's okay to sit in that, but you have to eventually get to the point where you decide, you know what, I'm going to just place that there and I'm just going to keep moving forward. Because otherwise, it's just, I don't know how you could go through life if you keep letting it just in constantly. Because a lot of people go through much worse trauma, you know, and it'll take a lot more, which is something that you shouldn't be ashamed of. People shouldn't be ashamed with needing therapy. They shouldn't be ashamed of needing time, and things like that. And sometimes it takes time to even get to that point where you can accept that you need help. And so, you know, my mom's a psychotherapist. She has a doctorate in psychotherapy. So, you know, I've been experimented on and stuff all my life. But, you know,
you've got
but,
stories all different genres and ways, and you're another one to write a book that would be.
oh my goodness, so much craziness. But, you know, okay, so last story, just willing to talk to strangers. Last year around Grammy weekend, there was a lot going on. I'd been laid off from working with Dan, and so I was just kind of figuring out what my next move was. And a friend was in town, and he said, "Hey, basically, I'm working with this water company. You know, maybe you want to hear a pitch." He didn't know I'd been laid off yet, so I think they were trying to. I don't think they were trying to pitch me to invest, and I was like, "Look, guys, sorry. You know, if this had been last year, more than happy." I was like, "But now I'm kind of in flux, so I don't know." But through that conversation, I was like, you know what? We could tighten up this pitch deck. We can tighten up this pitch. We can have better conversations here and more innovative conversations with investors. And so I just volunteered to start helping them with it. And then fast forward, they have several advisors that are, you know, high up in business and whatnot like that. And finally, a couple of them were like, well, why don't you just act as the CEO? And I was like, no. I was like, no, thank you. I said no, and like 3 more conversations had to happen, and finally the one of the financial advisors like totally pitched me on it, and basically was like, well, because the pandemic was coming on and everything, and was like, basically, what do you have to lose? And it brought me back, and it was like, you know what, you're right. What do I have to lose? Like, let's do this. And so now, you know, fingers crossed, we're hopefully around the corner from a major anchor investment that'll really get us started. So yeah, so, you know, if I hadn't been willing to just, even though I knew I could invest, I knew it meant something to this friend for me to show up. So I was like, all right, if I hadn't shown up and then hadn't had the follow-up conversations and everything like that, I wouldn't be involved with them like I am today. And so, you know, you have to just allow the door to open. You know, you don't have to accept everything. I mean, like I said, I turned down the CEO position 3 times and then finally was like, fine, you're right, why not? You know, it's just kind of like, and hopefully I can make something of it. But if I wasn't willing to have those random conversations or let, you know, strangers in to a certain extent, you know, it just wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen. Yeah.
You never, like I said, this whole thing all the time, I constantly thank Donnell Rawlings because a couple of years ago, I sent him a meme. It was the very first meme I sent him. It was, he posted up, Usher had just come out with a video, and Donnell, he's friends with Usher, but his thing said, he said, damn, I wish I was there for the video. So I took a picture of him and I put him in the picture that he posted of the video. I put him like in the background, like dancing. And his response was, hilarious, keep them coming. And that was, and through that, we continued creating laughter. And again, I'm honored to be a part of creating laughter with Donnell Rawlings.
Yeah.
But it's what has grown from that. It's friendship. It's the fact that I cannot just call him a brother. He is my brother.
Yeah.
You know, we talk on the phone, and he has this wonderful thing that he introduced me to. After we first started connecting, you know, it was emails and messages, and then it was a couple of texting, and then it was a little bit of talking on the phone and stuff like that. And then we met, and then, you know, things get closer. He called me up one Sunday night. He was getting ready to go on stage. It was a big show he had, and we were just shooting some stuff. And he said, hadn't talked to you in a while. Now, like I said, we had been nonstop back and forth for probably 2-3 weeks of memes and funny stuff. And everything. He said, I hadn't talked to you in a while. He said, I need to hear my family's voice once in a while.
Oh.
He said, we can go back and forth in messages all day long. He goes, but every now and then, he goes, I need to hear my family's voice.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it was that connection and that realization that, okay, I connected with him on that level, but then again, it spreads out and it continues to go. It goes to Karen, it goes to you, it goes to, you know, it goes to everybody. It's so weird, the connections that you make in life. And when you find them and you realize it's because of something, it's because of an energy, it's because of something in here, it's because of something. It has nothing to do with anything else, but something that you can't explain.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, you'll never find that out. And again, this is almost kind of easier because it's through Karen, that it's going to be somebody with an amazing energy. I understand that. But like you said too, if you talk to a stranger, you may find that you may have the same energy as them, and you may have an amazing night. You may have an amazing time.
Yep.
And yes, as long as your head is on straight, and if it doesn't feel right, if the energy's not right, like you said, I'm not feeling too good tonight. You know, let's call it a night. Let's, you know, maybe we can talk another time.
Yeah.
But if the energy's there, look at what it turns into.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just the Moulin Rouge is just one of many stories that I've had like that have just turned out awesome just because it was, you know, nice, open, and head on straight. Yeah, definitely no substances or anything like that were partaken on until, you know, until or unless I was in known safe company, you know. So I would say that being sober is your friend. Because you can have a great time without having to be under the influence. It's not a requirement. But, you know, a lot of that has to do with, you know, and as you've seen and I've seen, especially working with celebrities, is insecurity. So it's, you know, it's build confidence in yourself, baby steps, you know, learn a tolerance for no, and that no is not an absolute rejection of who you are as a person or what you have to offer. It's just a single no. And that's literally, if that's the worst that could happen, then you're doing pretty good, you know? So, you know, it could be no, and then I'll stab you. Now that would be worse, you know? But if the worst that can happen is a no, then that's fine. You just move on to the next. Or, you know, if you want to be bold, you ask, well, can you just tell me maybe why it's a no, and hope they give you an answer. And then you can either adjust accordingly or just realize, okay, then I don't need to present to individuals like you or people who are doing this or that. But yeah, it's just, it's one of those things. And I think maybe that was an advantage of mine early on, that a lot of my friends always said, this supreme confidence. And it wasn't really supreme confidence. I'm insecure about a lot of things, but it really was just a non-fear of rejection, because there was an expectation that rejection can happen, you know what I mean? And that it just is what it is. And maybe that's what I can thank my parents for early on. It's just like, hey, this life is not going to be what you want all the time, but if you work hard, it opens up possibilities. Yeah.
Let me ask you, because you just touched on something that I touched on a little bit before, and it's something, again, that I'm working on, and I want to ask you about it. The fear and insecurities. Mm-hmm. You seem to, like you said, for what you go through, you have a very good way of dealing with them and handling with them. What I'm trying to do with myself, because I'm one of those people where I think I've been through phases with fear and insecurities, where there have been times in my life where nothing could stop me. Nothing. Mm-hmm. I didn't care. I was, you know, nothing. And then there were times where simple things, like simple nights out, like,
yeah,
you know, feel like going tonight. Something don't feel like going. And what I've learned, again, last year was, you know, an experience year for me. It was a lot of self-learning, a lot of, you know, looking into things. And I've learned a lot that the fear and insecurities, again, we create them.
Yeah.
So do you nip them in the butt before they get started? Or do you have a way of dealing with them once they get big? Because I think my problem is I would let them get too big. And I'm beginning to realize that. And that's helping me. That is helping me so much now, that before I let it, I'm like, okay, I see you there. I realize you're there, but you're not going to interfere with me this time. I'm doing what I want to do. And that's why I'm here, was because I didn't want to get back. I did this last year. I didn't want to get back into it. And then it was that, I see you. No, I'm doing this.
Yes. Yes. And I can say, you know, that's a step all of its own. You know, when I talk to my clients, I mean, I have creative ideas, but I'm not a creative, at least not anymore in my life. And I've come to, you know, realize that I've kind of like stomped that out of myself due to the nature of my work and just how I've gone about things. But as far as handling those moments, I would say it depends. There's sometimes where it unexpectedly creeps up on me, and how it manifests on my body is it makes my stomach hurt. So I literally get stomach pains. I lose my appetite, things like that. And so because I know that that's kind of like my tell or trigger, I just start to mentally, you know, kind of try and switch myself into pretending almost that, you know, I just had something bad to eat. You'll be okay. Just hide it. You know, it's just, just it's okay. Just when you get a moment, go get some water, you know, take a break in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. But you just give it a little time and your stomach will resettle. And yeah. And so, you know, sometimes, like I said, I mean, depending on what it is, you know, in the moment, like the dog incident, I mean, in the moment that had our adrenaline going so much because nobody knew how hurt anybody was and things like that, that's like, but the moment it's like, okay, we can evaluate this. Nobody's bleeding yet. Let's go to the doctor, this and that and the other. The moment everyone was like safely being evaluated, that was a moment of me to go, okay, now let's assess the situation, you know? But then on your everyday things, like there are times where I'll be negotiating for a client and the other side will just be out of their minds, which happens, or say something crazy, or they just threaten. They'll be like, you know what, this and that and the other. So this isn't going to work and there's going to be no deal. And they go, you know, running off, and the client really wanted the deal. But I just try and stay confident in myself and what I've advised them. I said, we've talked about this. I told you that if we can see it in this is what can happen in the future. And that's why they're fighting so hard for it. And so if they're not willing to compromise on that, then they're just looking to steal from you rather than collaborate with you. And usually it comes back around. You know, actually, I haven't yet, knock on wood, had a situation where it hasn't. Or if it hasn't, it was for the best. Because then later we read something online or whatever, and a deal they did with somebody else. Like, oh, okay, dodge that bullet. So yeah, but yeah, it's just because I've realized how my body physically manifests that kind of stress and fear and anxiety. It's because it's the exact same as if I ate something bad, you know, or something like that. So I try to address it like you would any other temporary ailment, and then keep moving from there. You know, if it's so bad that I can't address it, then it's like I got to step away. You know, and that's fair. You can do that. You can say, you know what, I need a day or two. Let me get back to you. And then just handle it. Calm your nerves, doing whatever. For me, it's golf or watching, you know, YouTube videos about randomness. That's like, why not? You know, these are how I settle my mind and my body. Reading, you know, listening to music. Usually music, I didn't realize it until this Christmas, how much that changes my mood. Like, Christmas, I was not in the mood. I was like, this is not the holidays. It doesn't feel like this. My grandmother had just died a month before, and I just was like, ugh. So Christmas Day, we ran our normal errands before the grocery store closed and stuff, and came back home, and I was like, eh. And we have our own bubble with two of our neighbors, and so they were going to just come over, and we were going to watch something. And as we were cleaning up, preparing for them, I was like, you know what, let me just put on my Christmas music playlist, which is based off of the music my dad used to play all the time when we were kids. And next thing you know, my partner Ned, he pointed this out. I was dancing and singing and everything like that. I went from the worst mood to the best, let's get Christmas going mood. It's just music has that effect on me.
People get that. I think that's the thing. I think too many people think when they're in a bad mood, they just want to sit. They want to sit in silence, and silence is the worst thing because then everything just keeps going. The cogs keep turning. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting darker and deeper.
No.
Music is an amazing thing. That's another thing. Again, I'm trying to remind myself, if I feel myself going down a hole, put on some music. I mean, the one thing, I started this before the whole pandemic thing. I started, taking care of myself, eating better, working out every day. Last year, on average, I probably worked out 6 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I have an elliptical in the basement, which I absolutely hate. It's the devil's machine. Can't stand it, but I get on it every single day.
Wow.
I have like this old free weight system and stuff like that. So I do some body workout too, but for the most part, it's just that. It's just music, all different. Like every day, it's a different genre. Hip hop, it's jazz, it's heavy metal, it's punk, it's whatever. I always different genres, random things. Just get the music flowing, get going. If it doesn't have a good beat, fast forward to the next one. I need something,
It's interesting you say that because one of the things my mom worked on was hypnosis, which isn't always the, you're getting sleepy, snap your fingers, you're a chicken type thing. Hypnosis can go into when you're in the zone, which they kind of talked about like in that movie Soul. Whereas if you get yourself busy, if you're working out and you hear a beat and you can get yourself in sync with the beat with your movement, That's a type of hypnosis. If you're taking a walk and you're looking from side to side on either side of the sidewalk as you're walking, next thing you know, you'll get to a certain point where you'll be like, whoa, how did I get all the way to B 2 miles down the road? You put yourself in a type of hypnosis. And in that sense, that's a good way to calm yourself down. And so, you know, I always tell people, like, the busier you are, the less you can worry about some things. And so if you find yourself, if you have a hobby that can fill your free time or just something to do, I mean, anything that you just enjoy, even if it's watching the same movie and over again, whatever it is that just makes you feel good and can occupy your mind and make you feel like you're accomplishing something, will help you get through most anxiety bouts. You know, of course, some things can be really bad and some things are worth it. And those are valid, and you should validate your anxiety, but don't go without getting any kind of help. You know, I think it's very important that people, you know, don't feel ashamed about needing mental health assistance. Yeah.
No, that's a very important thing. Comedy has always been my number one thing to get through everything. Music has always been a big part. And I was one of those people who didn't believe in therapy. I was people, I'll never go to a therapist. That's not, you know, it's not. And I got to a point in my life where I had so much weight on my shoulders that I realized I have to.
Yeah.
And I went for a time, and it was absolutely wonderful. It was a huge thing. I haven't gone in a couple of years because I haven't felt that I've needed it. But if I needed to, every now and then I'll still get an email from her. Just checking in. How's it? Good, thank you very much. You know, I still know if I need to, I absolutely can. But luckily, I think I've been learning enough about myself to realize. And in that situation, when I did have to go for therapy, it was because, again, I was about to go somewhere where it was too deep. And I was lucky enough to go, hold on, pump the brakes. I need to ask for help now. And did the right thing. I had to reach out to a couple of different people for a couple of different things. And luckily I was fortunate enough to have some amazing people around at a time when I needed them to get me through a very difficult time. But again, a couple of years before that, if somebody had suggested therapy, don't talk to me. Me, you know, me, I don't need.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you got to be ready to receive it, right? It's kind of like if you're an alcoholic, someone could throw you in Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that. But if you're not ready to let go, it's only going to go so far, you know, unless something happens to resonate with you in those sessions, unless you're actually ready or you're at the point where you're kind of fed up and you're like, I know I just need help and maybe I'm not ready, but I know I want to be ready. That's even something, you know, but, you know, but it sounds like that's exactly what you were saying. It's like, you know, but the moment you were like, you know what, maybe you were able to dive into it. You know, it's a mindset, you know, that's pretty much life. Life is a mindset. I know when I was younger, I remember when The Secret came out. Remember that craze?
Yes.
The Secret?
Yeah.
And I remember watching it because when I was a teenager and younger, in my early 20s, they were explaining how this works, where you just think of something and you just work towards it, you manifest it, you have it on your wall, blah, blah, blah. I just remembered thinking, well, this is how I go about my everyday life. Like, this is my mindset all the time. Like, I wanted to be a pro golfer. I wanted to meet Tiger Woods. I met Tiger Woods. I wanted to go, you know, travel and see this person in concert. I saw that person in concert. I wanted to go to school and blah, blah, blah. I wanted to meet this particular famous person or get to know them personally. And I did. And it's just because in my mindset, it was like, there's just like you said, you get in that kind of mindset where you're like, there's no reason why I can't do this. And even if naysayers come around, it's like, ooh, what's your problem? Okay, well, I'm gonna still go do this. So you can tell me I can't, but I'm on my way doing it, you know? So it's like, you have that. But then sometimes things happen that just that knock your confidence or just knock your energy, you know? And it could be something that's not even your fault. It could be a health issue. It could be, you know, a thyroid issue, hormonal changes, things like that. Because like I said, with my anxiety, it manifests in its stomach, right? Well, if I have suddenly intestinal issues, I'm going to be constantly feeling that feeling, and it's going to get confusing for me, which it did. That's something that did happen to me. And it started making me think I had anxiety issues. It made me think like everything was worrying me. when no, I wasn't worried. There was no reason for me to be worried, but my stomach was bothering me so much. It just gave me this false sense of I must be panicked, right? And then once I got that resolved, it kind of changed. It changed everything, you know. But I didn't even realize that until some time had passed. So there's aspects to it that just you know, just it's all about self-awareness, and that's the best space you can be in. Mindfulness is what the term is that's popular now, which is all a work in progress. I know I'm still a work in progress because 2020.
Listen, we all are. I think that's something that people have to realize. I think you should always be a work in progress. I think we should always, again, you just touched on something about and it's wonderful that you've always had that mindset. But again, 20 years ago, if someone had come up to me and said, hey, listen, if you think about it enough, if you picture it in your head, it will happen. I was one of those polite guys, like, okay, like okay, you know, Fruit Loop over here, you know, like.
I mean, it takes work, and that's the thing too. I think that's what people don't realize. It's like it's not like you're sitting at a picture of staring at a picture of bicycle, and it's happening. What's happening is that you're so motivated for it that you don't realize that all the efforts you're putting around it are what's going to make that happen. So you are so focused and excited about the bike that you don't even complain about work anymore. You're just doing the best you can to get that, you know, hit your metrics and make that money. And the next thing you know, you have the money and you can buy the bike, you know, or something else, you know. So it's just, or you're constantly seeking out, you know, where can I get this bike? What's it happening now? Who has it? And the next thing you know, you enter enough contests and you win a bike, you know, or you whatever. So there's just yeah, so that's, I think that's the kind of misnomer people don't understand. It's not as simple as just focusing.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be doing something.
That's the way I looked at it. When somebody said that, I was just like, okay, you're like, okay, next week I want to be a millionaire. Okay. No, it's like you said, it's achievable goals. It's things that you can picture. And and again, I think the thing is, I think a lot of people, when they think of, okay, if I want to think of that, if I want to think of an achievable goal, then they'll think of it and they'll go, no, that's not who I am, or no, that's out of my league, or no, I couldn't. That's the problem. You may not reach the tippy top of where you wanted to get to go, but you can get high up that mountain. You know? And that's the thing, go for it.
Yeah, and you may realize, like I said, you don't even want to be at the tippy top. Maybe, like I said, my first time being in-house with somebody that has so much access to money and resources and people and things made me realize that, oh, I don't even need all that. Like there is now my number, because I used to have that kind of Wolf of Wall Street, you know, attitude about what my number needs to be. And now it's like, whoa, no, I don't, that's not even necessary for my happiness. So let's bring it all the way down. And now let's talk about the alternative things you need for my happiness. For me, you know, I'm still working and everything like that while I'm trying to get this company together. But the big thing about me taking on the helm of the company was I was like, we have to be a public benefit corporation. We have to set aside funds to take care of our employees if there's another decline in the economy. We have to be able to eventually provide community services and be able to provide clean water for schools and communities that need it. You know, there's certain things that I was like, this has to happen in order for me to sign on. We got to be like better than Patagonia when it comes to this kind of stuff. And everybody was like, yeah, we like that. We like that vision. Cool. You know? So it's like to me, I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to have, you know, all these things. I can live, you know, off a pretty good retirement. And, you know, in California, I will admit a few $100,000 a year is kind of necessary to be absolutely comfortable, because I would like to own a house one day. But, you know, for the most part, it's like, no, I just literally want to take care of my basics and my health of me and my loved ones, and then make sure that anyone who works around me is making enough money where those basics are taken care of as well. And so that was a big thing too, because I was like, even our lowest paid employee, wherever we're working, has to be at a metric where if they want to make this their only full-time job, that's absolutely the only way it should be. If they want to take on a side hustle, or if they have a passion project, cool. But if they dedicate themselves to this, they're financially totally fine. And they can have their work-life balance, which is what everyone should have, you know? Especially with technology these days, it's like, God, why is everything now? Like, I remember the time where even for me, I didn't have a computer in class, you know, when I was going to school and college and all that stuff. And so now, you know, and you had a month to get a 20-page paper done, and now they're like, we need it by next week. It's like, what? You know?
Everything is just it's a crazy world we live in, and you just have to. Again, you can't get caught up in the money and in all the the stuff. And it was, I mean, again, you don't know much about my story. Again, we're learning about each other. But I think one of the greatest lessons in life that I've learned is, I have a special needs son. I don't know if you know anything about that.
I saw some on your social media. He's mute.
He's a deaf mute. He's going to be 21. He was stricken with bacterial meningitis when he was 3.5.
Ooh.
3 strokes.
Yeah.
He had total paralysis. The doctor said that he would never be able to do anything.
Wow.
He does quite a bit. He doesn't do a lot, but what he does do, and that's something, again, before my son got sick, my wife and we had bought our first home. We were turning it into our dream home. We had that. We did so much to that house. It was this cute little house. We had almost had it done. I think we had the basement that we were going to work on. Put a pool in the backyard. I was building a deck around it. I was building a tree house because we were thinking of having a second kid at the time. It was just everything. Everything was perfect. I'm a car guy. I was building a Porsche. My dream. I was building it in the garage.
Yeah.
I got a brand new BMW station wagon.
Wow.
I wanted the best. I wanted the healthy for my family. I wanted to be safe. Everything you could have asked for in life was going just perfectly. And then one night, my son got sick, and everything changed. I had to get rid of the BMW. I sold my Porsche on eBay. A guy from Canada drove down to, I'm right below New York, drove down with a bag full of cash. I had to call somebody that I knew about money laundering just to make sure that the money was okay, because it was quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
A bag of cash from Canada. And I was like, let me just make sure the money's okay before you drive off with my Porsche. But again, I live in the attic of my mother-in-law's house now. I drive a van.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I have my son. I have my daughter. I'm grateful for it, because we didn't know, after everything happened with my son, my wife and I decided, okay, that's it. We'd thought about another kid. And then whenever that happened, we were like, no, we can't. This life is too crazy. And then we decided this life is too crazy not to have what we want.
Yeah.
So again, we lost all the material stuff, but we never lost anything, because we kept our love. We kept our family.
Yeah.
Like I said, my son has lost a lot. He never lost his sense of humor, and he never lost his compassion for people. He loves people. This is a hard time for him because he's a hugger. And if we have to take him out for a doctor's visit, it's, oh my God, it's like insane how much, caution we have to have with him. But he wants to hug. He's the type that'll get on an elevator and he wants to hug the person standing, we gotta hold him. He loves people. And it's energy. And I've become who I've become because of him. Because I've watched him. And I've watched the way he looks at life a lot differently than you and I do. I don't know what goes on in his head half the time. He can't tell me. We can't communicate that well. But what I see, the way that he looks at life, that's the way that I try to look at life. I try to look at my son. You can do something simple like just tap yourself in the head. He'll crack up hysterically. You can do it 20 times before he'll start to stop laughing at it as much. He loves humor. He loves people. And again, it's made me look for humor, look for the goodness in people, look for, every now and then, I don't want to say like a dog sense, but every now and then, I'll see my son kind of turn away from somebody. And I'm like, I want nothing to do with that person. I don't care. I don't care who they're related to. I don't care who brought them over here. I keep, if he doesn't like them, I don't like them.
Because sometimes it's the most simple, innate things, because, as much as, like I say, I don't hate anybody, just like you said, that's just a terrible word. There's no reason to hate. But there are definitely some people, like you said, that just to protect your energy, it's like, why don't you stay over there? I'm just not going to deal with you, because it's like, there's no reason. You don't have to. You don't owe anybody anything. But that's that's quite the story. And, you know, it's good. I'm glad to hear that you gain perspective from it. Rather than, you know, what some people would assume would be a certain amount of bitterness or anger, you know?
The hardest question that I get, and I think I never answered it up until I think a couple of years ago. I actually sat down and I thought about it. And, you know, you get those people like, wow, if you could go back in time. Wow, if that day never happened. Wow, if you saw something. Okay, I'm one of those people who I've broken my rearview mirror off. I'm trying not to look in the rearview mirror anymore because it is painful, tough. So I try not to. But when I get that, oh, don't you wish you could go back? Don't you wish you can change it? Of course, if you had what would be considered the worst day of your life, if you could change it, yes. I've actually looked back, and it's very weird now, and I don't answer that the same. I look back now, and I answer that I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
Make it emotional now. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's just, it's our life and it's what we've been through. And I see, like I said, I live in the attic of my mother-in-law's house. I have jokes that I go on stage and they kill about stuff like that. But it's because I can laugh at it. It's because I have everything I need. I don't need anything more. This is what I have is all that I need. Yes, it would be nice to have a house with everything that we could for our son to make it a lot easier. But what we have every day in this house is laughter.
Yeah.
There are very few days. My son has these days. Thank God, I'm gonna knock on wood too. We haven't had him recently. He has a lot of days where he doesn't get out of bed, just sit dog all day long. Made some changes and we're getting to a place where things are much better now. But the one thing we do every single day, and even on those days, you can look back in my history and my Instagram, we had some of the roughest days. And there were days where my son would all of a sudden come out of it. And he may not be that great. He'll do something silly because he'll see the stress of my wife and I. He'll see how stressed we are. So again, this life that I live, as miserable as it is, as horrible as it is some days, and I don't like the word hate, there are days that I hate the days. But I live a life and I see a life now that I would have never have seen. Yes, I could have done something. Yes, I could have gone off and gained notoriety. And I would have never have seen the life that I live. I would have never have met the people that I've met. And again, I think that's the most important thing. Again, a lot of it, like I said, I'll thank Donnell a million times. Because again, where I am today and what I'm doing today is because of Donnell. And he'll argue with me and he'll say, and this is something too that again, that I want to help teach people. He would say, no, he just sees something in me that I need to see. And that's something too that a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. I don't have it in me. Yes, you do. If one thing I can tell to anybody, you have it in you. I've got through days, I've got through stuff that I never could have imagined that I could. The things that I've seen in my life with my son, in my professional career, I never thought that I could have gotten through it. And I've gotten through it a lot easier because of the life that I live now and because of the way I look, the way that I can. Listen, I'm not perfect. I have my days. I break down. I get angry. We all deal with. This stress gets to me. I'm no different. I'm no different than anybody else. But what I am is I'm learning, and I'm trying to pass on what I'm learning, and I'm learning from people every single day. I've learned a lot from you here tonight. So thank you for again helping me grow as a person.
Oh, well, I mean, I'd say likewise, because it's just, you know, it's inspiring to hear how people adapt, you know, because like I said, it's like we can talk about the tragedies that happen, but then you can always talk about someone who has something worse, you know, someone who literally, you know, is being bombed right now, or who literally has been hiking 300 miles just to try and get across the border just to hope they can get a job and create a better life. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people that completely lost their homes and are living out of cars right now because they don't have family to turn to. There's a lot that people are just adapting to and they're making work. And, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, just keeping the light on, I guess is the best term for it. It's just there's, you know, because yes, you know, sometimes there are situations where you can live in absolute misery, but if you just allow yourself to see the humor in the little things that could be humorous, it keeps you. I believe that deeply. That laughter does. Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I think that's a perfect way to end tonight. We've been going quite a while here, and again,
Sorry about that.
keep the light on though. That
Yeah.
absolutely love that. Keep the light on. That's important. A lot of people, you know, let it get too dim sometimes, or turn it off when you think, oh, I'll turn it back on later. No, keep the light on. Always keep the light. Always, even through the dark times. Like I said, you can get there, and again, when you can find this energy in your life, and you can share this energy in your life, when you have a lot of that, this is again, this is what recharges my battery. So again, thank you.
Well, no, thank you. Thank you for having me on and having this conversation. I mean, my life has been creating venting rooms for lawyers on Clubhouse lately. So they'll all come in and just vent about the terrible things that you have to deal with being a lawyer. And you know, but this is a very positive conversation. I appreciated it.
Thank you. And a big, I know Karen was on here before, and I think she said that she was she had somewhere to go, so I'm not going to go back to her. So I'm going to end tonight with anything that you would like to finish up and say. It's all yours for the end of the night. And again, thank you. I'm just going to say peace, love, and laughter. And thank you again for your wisdom tonight.
Oh, thank you. I guess the only thing I would say is that one thing that's kept me through a lot of things is knowing that I'm not alone and that I'm capable, and to believe in myself and my capabilities, and to try and not stay idle. You know, I think that's the easiest thing to do is when you're scared or anxiety ridden, you just hunker in place. And it's like, you know what? Even if it could go bad, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Yeah. Because it can also go good.
Yeah. You never know. You never know where you'll end up with an amazing story, or you can end up with a night of nothing. So
yeah. But at least it was something. Well, thank you for having me. You have a good night.
Thank you again for everything. And again, I'm just going to end this here tonight. And tomorrow night, we'll be back again with something else. But again, peace, love, and laughter. Good night to everybody. And again, thank you.